Hello, everybody. This is my first YouTube video on this channel. And today we're going to be looking at the Twitter, aka X account of Follow That Lawsuit, whose handle is actually at let's_follow_it. And this seems to be completely dedicated to Jevremovic versus Courville. That would be Queen Courville to you and me. So yeah, like today he, she, they, whatever this entity is, they started out last night by making a pretty clueless comment saying, BJ Courville says she has a court date tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure her attorneys rescheduled that. I may be wrong. As soon as the LA court website sorts out its tech issues, I'll link what I have. And that was totally false. There was a court hearing this morning. There were technical issues. I don't know if those technical issues were on the part of the plaintiff, the defendant, the court itself. Who knows? But regardless, there was a hearing scheduled. BJ showed up for it. It got rescheduled. But the outcome of the rescheduling is basically the status quo, which is that Mr. Kuchar's lawsuit, Mr. Kuchar's request for a temporary restraining order was already denied and continues to be denied for another several weeks until they can reschedule the hearing. So this morning, Follow That Lawsuit says, just found out it was rescheduled to October due to technical failure on BJ Courville's legal team. So, you know, BJ Courville's legal team may or may not agree with that reasoning, but who knows? This is just some anonymous rando on the internet that doesn't seem very reliable, or you know, doesn't seem like they're a really decent human being, if they are even a human being. Anyway, maybe they're just AI, who knows? Anyway, it says, if anyone knows the outcome of the other restraining order hearing today, not Lima's, I would love to know if you want to share. Just curious to know what went down and if it was granted. Thank you. Well, I mean, it wasn't Lima's. That hearing was not today. So this person just doesn't. This person either doesn't have access to the same court documents as the rest of us have, or doesn't know how to read them, or is, you know, getting unreliable information. Anyway, then this person says, and a final thought, this judge often streams or releases his hearings. It's public information, so maybe he'll make the recording available and we can all come to our own conclusions. That'd be neat. Well, I thought it was a female judge, or perhaps non-binary. I don't think it was a male judge, but here we go. Okay, then he says, probably just minutes later, as there was no hearing, there was no argument about the merits of the restraining order, so saying the judge said anything about its sufficiency and merits is unlikely. Well, that's what the judge had said the first time Mr. Kuchar went in several weeks ago to try to get this restraining order, that it wasn't a viable thing at that time, but that he did have a right to a hearing. And that was what was supposed to happen today and is now going to happen sometime in the future. But he didn't have enough to get a restraining order back then. He may or may not have enough right now, but whether he has enough right now or not, he doesn't have the opportunity to even represent new evidence until the hearing is rescheduled. So there's that. And he's like putting BJ's little short video where she just updated everybody as to what happened. He says, they say, whatever, Follow That Lawsuit says, BJ Courville says for a restraining order in Georgia, not Lima's, failed, but the truth is that it was rescheduled to October. Apparently several of her followers attended the remote hearing. Okay. I was not one of those followers, so I don't know if that's true or not. Then he says, a few hours after that, there's a pattern here. When BJ Courville was still ingrained with the Free Britney, she claimed something about human trafficking and people trying to silence her. She took that template and stamped it onto the BAM Margera situation. Same allegations being made today on related parties. Below tweets are from 2021, but if you didn't know that, you might think they're in response to recent events. Okay, this person, again, like either doesn't know how to read or just really is so peripherally, has such peripheral knowledge of any of this. Like, here we go. That surprise witness, JD, 1st of July, 2021. Okay, so this was right around the time when Lucifer, and if you know, you know who Lucifer is, when Lucifer was coming to BJ's former place of employment, that at that time was still, I believe, her current place of employment. This was before she resigned. Can one of y'all email me? I have firsthand knowledge of one of the traffickers' MO, but my career could be in jeopardy if I talk, which was true. And the trafficker was Lucifer. And if you know, you know who Lucifer is. The trafficker in 2022 and 2023 is Limafer. So it was Lucifer for who was Britney's trafficker back in 2021. And now in 2022, 2023, the trafficker is Limafer, and Limafer has had several traffickees. One was Amanda, whom she trafficked to a facility in Las Vegas. Another, and rest in peace, Amanda. Another is BAM, who she trafficked to many facilities in Florida primarily. And then, of course, there are her two sisters, of which one of whom we know is being trafficked because that person has said on publicly available police body cam footage that she's being trafficked. Now, she didn't say it was by Limafer, she said it was by Lindafer, but I would say Limafer and Lindafer are working in coordination. So hopefully that all makes sense. And so that's what BJ said in 2021. And she was emailing Matt Gaetz, Burgess Owens, and 3 others. I don't know who those were, but whoever they were, maybe they emailed her, maybe they didn't. Bottom line is, not long after this was posted, she did end up quitting her job because of Lucifer. So next one, 15th of July, so a couple weeks later, I think we need the International Human Rights Commission to intervene in this racket that goes all the way up to at least the federal district courts in California. I'm concerned if we dig further, we're going to be silenced in unimaginable ways. By that, I believe she was meaning situation with John Erdley, who lost his license to practice law because he tried to intervene for Britney and because of the corruption in the California courts. Where BJ is now, unfortunately, a defendant. BJ was sounding an alarm bell that she noticed that this attorney was being targeted because he tried to support Britney's right to autonomy. And now BJ herself, an attorney or a JD at this point, a lawyer, she may not be currently an attorney admitted to the bar in any jurisdiction at this moment, could change at any time. At the time she wrote this, she was an attorney admitted to the bar in New Jersey. And that's another thing. People on this person's page that follow that lawsuit, they're always saying she didn't pass the bar and she is a paralegal. None of that's true. She was a lawyer, she passed the bar, she quit because of Britney Spears' trafficker, AKA Lucifer. All right, so basically, yes, she was saying something about a completely different case that is holding true in a completely separate case. That doesn't make her statement wrong. That just makes this person's interpretation of things very skewed and uninformed. And finally, 23rd of May, 2021. So this was actually the first one, this was earlier than the other two tweets that we just looked at. Someone is trying to silence me. I cannot mention their name, Lucifer. I will not be silenced, and she has not been. This tweet is to let that person know that I have made a video outing what they tried to do. If something happens to me, the video will be released and I will not be silenced. And I mean, yes, she's consistent. You know, she's got a consistent point of view, which is that all people deserve bodily and medical autonomy, regardless of their diagnosis, alleged mental health diagnosis, period. And that goes from people who live on the streets like Amanda Rabb did before she was confined to a facility where she met a very early demise due to unnecessary medications like risperidone that were forced upon her by Lima's forced treatment of her because Amanda didn't have a lawyer at that time who was able to inform Amanda or willing to inform Amanda or did inform Amanda, or if they did, maybe she just chose poorly. But if she had just gotten released on her own recognizance out in LA, you know, she, A, the charges against her probably would have been dropped by her father, and B, she may or may not still be alive, but she would have had her autonomy for the last 9 months of her life, which she did not have. And, you know, if you believe, as BJ does, and as I do, that autonomy is everything, then, you know, people who think it was better for Amanda to gain, you know, 100 pounds in 9 months and die in her sleep surrounded by, you know, candy wrappers and, you know, dirty clothes, you know, that then we have a very strong difference of opinion. And I am someone who has spent very long periods of time homeless. I'm someone who spent very long periods of time locked up in different facilities, both correctional and psychiatric. So yeah, I have a lot in common with BAM. I have a lot in common with Amanda. I have a lot in common with Dahlia, and I have a few things in common with Brittany as well. So anyone, if you're not someone who's ever spent time either in jail or in a psychiatric facility or in a rehab of some sort, or if you're not someone who's ever had your movement restricted as an adult, then you're just not going to get this, and you can just live in your own little free thinking planet and hope and pray that that never happens to you, because it can happen to anyone. Yeah, yesterday this dude, whatever, this fellow that lawsuit was saying something about this NFL player who had been taken into a Las Vegas facility. He plays for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he had been taken in on a psychiatric hold, and he was speaking out about it after he got out after 3 days. And BJ said, look, I'm on it. And this guy's like, oh, look, yeah, you know, this guy's like saying, don't listen. She's a lawyer. She's got lawsuits against her, blah, blah, blah. So what if she's got lawsuits against her? That doesn't mean that people don't deserve autonomy. It doesn't mean that people don't deserve due process. And I can tell you, this person, this fellow that lawsuit, has probably never even taken so much as a criminal justice class, much less have a law degree, much less have a law degree from one of the top 5 law schools in the country, / probably top 10 in the world, the University of Pennsylvania. You know, BJ went to Penn Law. Her lawyer went to, I think, USC, which is another like top 20 law school. Lima's lawyers went to Southwestern. Okay, no offense, I'm not a legal snob whatsoever. I could never get into any of the schools. I could never get into any of the top 20 schools for sure. But I got into schools like Southwestern with a full scholarship, and I chose not to go because I don't want to go to a diploma mill. So, you know, that's why I didn't go to law school, because the one school I wanted to go to that I could have afforded, I just didn't. So got to go to another live right now, but yeah, we'll continue this later. All right, take care.